I had a secret which would pit me against the armed forces in the years that followed and would make my life very complicated. And that secret was that I was gay. Hello, I'm Craig Jones. I'm the Joint Chief Executive of Fighting with Pride, and I served in the Royal Navy as a Lieutenant Commander, Principal Warfare Officer between 1989, and I completed my service in 2008. I wanted an exciting boys' own career in which I'd travel all over the world, do a really exciting job, and that's exactly what the Royal Navy delivered for me. I went straight out to the Caribbean and did interdiction operations with the US Coast Guard. I then went to the Gulf and did works out there after the first Gulf War. And then I found myself in Northern Ireland during the Troubles as a patrol officer in South Down. So there wasn't enough time to think about being gay, and it just wasn't relevant. In 1995, there was a moment of epiphany. I did an armed boarding on a fishing vessel off the coast of Bangor. And when I got on board, I found two young men in each other's arms, and we questioned them and let them on their way. But I went back to my cabin on my ship afterwards and held my head in my hands and realized that I'd just seen two young men who had found the courage to be themselves in the most difficult of circumstances, because being gay in Northern Ireland during the Troubles was tough. And here I was in my body armour with my Kevlar helmet and my 9mm pistol with no courage. And I felt truly ashamed. And I finished my tour 2 months later and resolved that life had to move on. So I walked into my first gay bar in Exeter and met my husband of the last 28 years. And that's when the risk came, because all of a sudden I had a family and I had something to protect, and I needed to hide it from the Royal Military Police, because on that day, if they had caught me, I would have served 6 months in a civilian prison. I was really lucky to be part of a remarkable change program in the armed forces, which has led to the armed forces being recognised as one of the most inclusive organisations in the world, a place where people can truly be themselves, where they're valued at every level, and they do a brilliant job. The sad thing is that in stark contrast to that, nothing has been done to look after those who were affected by the ban. It's these remarkable men and women who stepped forward in the service of the United Kingdom, but were cut down sometimes with abject cruelty. I am one of the lucky ones, but I'm conscious of the fact that when I'm with those who were most affected by the ban, these wonderful veterans live today in poverty, with poor health, with no pensions, transient and removed from the armed forces family, and it's time for them to be included again, and that is the mission. The Veterans Foundation were one of the first organisations to support Fighting with Pride. It's quite a challenge to start a new charity, so that early support has made a huge difference. And we thank everybody that supports the Veterans Foundation through the Veterans Lottery, because every single one of those tickets helps fantastic organisations across the whole of the UK, like Fighting with Pride, to support our wonderful armed forces veterans and their families. We will be enormously grateful if you could help fantastic armed forces charities like Fighting with Pride by playing the Veterans Lottery, and we wish you every good luck.